This is Alexandra from PersEd.
And this is Paul from the Time Repair Corporation.
And we both welcome you to the monthly Interchange podcast.
A meeting of the minds, people reaching outside of themselves in an attempt to reach a deeper understanding of perspectives.
And it is through this coming together of perspectives that we hope to serve the divergence, the polymaths, the people who don't fit into molds, the people we like to call angels of chaos. In short, those who do not belong in a single unique environment.
And we want to achieve that by inviting these troublemakers from around the world and really digging into their experiences and unique views, the things that have made them them.
And it is these views, these things that have made them who they are, that we like to share today and every month with you. And we like to support them with models that can support personal development, models that can support sustainability, models that can support global and human flourishment. But there is something else that is very important about the Interchange podcast.
And that is that we want to grow that conversation. We want to reach out and involve more people so that this really and truly becomes a borderless interchange. And today we have I cannot properly express how I feel about this guest. I've known her for a few years now, and every time I see her, she has brought joy into my life, and this is just what she does with everyone who I know who has met her. She is effectively an agent of compassion and an advocate for kindness, and someone who has taken an incredible journey in order to become the chocolate angel. So today I'd like to introduce you all to Verena Rentrop, a dear friend and someone who I am overjoyed to have on Interchange today. Verena, welcome.
Thanks so much, Paul and Alexandra. It's my absolutely pleasure to meet both of you and to become part of this interchange conversation with you. Nothing more is a pleasure to me today.
And on this note, I'd like to jump right into our questions. So, first question. You are described by many people to be a woman of many talents. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself? All of the different sort of roles that you've played over the years, the experiences that you've nurtured yourself with.
How much time do I have, Paul, for this answer?
Right.
24 hours.
Right.
Okay, excellent. We might need that. Let me. So, I mean, I'm what can I say? I have a long journey behind me, a journey which surprisingly I still remember more or less every single step along the way. And there are certain things which I never did, for example, which might be surprising for some. I never ever went to university, right? That kind of, I happily skipped over that step, not necessarily voluntarily, but I feel that it was not a bad thing that I never went there. So in a way, I went to the University of Life, right? By trade, I never, or only a few years ago, I learned what is the proper English term for my real trade. The original trade I learned, and by trade, I'm a forwarding agent. In German, it's called Speditionskauffrau, right? Because I'm a woman, so I obviously use the female reference, not the male one. And that means I learned how to deal with trucks and logistics and kind of keeping cargo moving around the world. So, right, I still remember, for example, one question for my final exam, and that was, please write no one trucking capable kind of highway to every neighbor country of Germany. So at the time, right, between, West Germany, and it was still at the time Western Germany, or BDR, BRD and DDR. So, right, it was 1 to DDR, it was 1 to Denmark, 1 to Austria, 1 to France, etc. But then I, for example, also worked a while in our family business. So twice, once I worked there as a quality engineer. So I would really kind of measure drilled metal parts on a very high precision. What else have I done in my life? I worked also in a moving company, right? If you would have lived around Frankfurt at some point in my life, right? And you wanted to move, for example, from Frankfurt to, I don't know, Helsinki, or perhaps we wouldn't have done Helsinki, but right, usually with a truck. And then I would be in the office kind of organizing that, right? The truckers would come, pack your stuff, and then move all your belongings to another part of the city or the country. What else? There was an interesting time when I started ending up working for Nokia. And there, for example, I started with between purchasing department, logistics. And for 15 years, I ended up working in IT, because I was so interested in, how IT systems works and all those interconnected elements in an IT system. Right, you put information somewhere on the left side into an IT system, right, as a user, and then let's say 30 dots later, right, a completely wrong information comes out from the other side. So that's how I ended up kind of working in IT. I became, after many years, right, a global process manager, even though I really hate processes, or let's say I don't hate processes as such. I hate swim lanes. Do you know those kind of, right? If you want to document a process, it's like step here, yes, no, step there, etc. I can't draw them, but I'm really good. For example, if someone shows me a process diagram, I can say, but wait a second, something is not quite right here. Why that is going there? So I'm really good criticizing it, but I'm really bad in drawing it. And at least currently, because one of, I think my superpower is really, I connect people, right? I work with people all over the world. And I'm also good in speaking, not just kind of perhaps potentially English these days, right? But I'm also good in, for example, speaking business and IT. Not sure if you know, but business and IT are really speaking different languages. They might think they speak the same language, but sorry, I have to say they don't. So agreed. I'm a really good translator between business and IT. So these days I work as a deployment manager, and there I need to constantly translate between business and IT. And in between, right, I'm running my own company as a chocolate angel, where my superpower is to make everyone smile anywhere in every part of the world, in any part of the world. I would say that is a kind of,
right?
It's a great shift. It's a fantastic shift. But I'm not sure if it's a shift, because it's like a kind of a wandering through a variety of different experiences that led you eventually to the discovery of something that shows who you are deep inside as a person.